The secret is, there is no secret. Lifting weights is one of the most straightforward things that someone could do. It's like you could learn everything you need to know in terms of practical knowledge, in terms of what exercises to do, how to program, uh, how to exercise with safe form, effective form, nutrition, recovery. You could learn everything you need to know in like a week, really. It's not that complicated. Most people, 99% of people I see in the gym, they're not making gains. It's not because they don't have the right program or the right nutrition or the right recovery or because they're lifting with the wrong form. 99% of people who I know who lift and they aren't making progress. This is the same mistake I made when I was starting lifting. It's a universal thing. It's one of the same reasons most people aren't successful at anything. It just comes down to discipline and consistency, consistent effort. Most people won't show up week after week, not missing a day for their workout program. I remember when I first started lifting, I had a bunch of gym buddies, and I was pretty much the only one who kept going. Like, this is when I started making progress. When I started making progress, it was because I actually started going consistently, not missing a single day, and actually showing up to the gym. And my buddies would always have some excuse like, oh, I got this going on, I got that going on, I don't feel like it today, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Like, those missed sessions add up over time. And honestly, if they kept going, a lot of the guys I knew when I first started lifting, if they kept consistent as I did, they'd be way ahead of me. They had a lot. I know a lot of guys who had way better genetics than me in terms of muscle insertions and were just naturally stronger when they first started lifting. But they just weren't consistent with it. They just don't. It really just comes down to like, how bad do you want it? Do you want it so badly that you're willing to sacrifice other aspects of your life in order to pursue this goal? Or is it just something that you kind of, it's like a haphazard wish in the back of your head, like, oh, it'd be nice to be fit. You got to really think about it. Because that's how I was in the beginning, it's like almost some people expect it to just happen. Like you don't have to work for it every single day. Like that's not how life works. There's a saying I've heard, it's like success isn't bought, it's rented, and every day the rent is due. Meaning every day you're not working towards that goal is a day that you're kind of falling behind. Now, I'm not saying you need to be in the gym every day, of course not, but just that consistency week after week, doing following through with the program, not going off of the program because your ego wants you to push heavier that day, or not going lighter than you should be because you're feeling tired and you don't feel like putting in effort because it's uncomfortable. No. If you just show up and do the work with genuine effort week after week, it's going to add up. Most everybody I know who I started lifting with and nowadays, like, they still look pretty much the same when they first started because they never kept up with it, never kept that consistency. I was never really genetically gifted at any of this, but here I am much further ahead in terms of physique and strength than all the guys I started with because I kept consistent with it. You know, that's how I actually made the progress. It did. I didn't have the best program. I didn't have the best nutrition. It was good nutrition. I didn't track it super closely, like if I tracked it a bit more closely, like down to the calories and the macronutrients, I'm sure I would have gotten even better results. But just through the act of disciplining myself to do the workouts at and actually do it week after week and push myself, like not just going through the workout half-assed, going through the motions, but actually pushing yourself. This is the second thing I don't see people do. 99% of people, they stop trying once it gets hard, once it gets uncomfortable. And then they make the excuse, oh, I'm going to get injured. Most people, they don't come anywhere close to injuring themselves because they stop the set way before there's any point of risk of injury. They just stop when the muscles start to get tired. It's like that's not the time to stop. Obviously, you don't want to lift weights which are way too heavy with bad movement quality. Obviously that will lead to injury, but I don't see that problem with most people. Sure, there's a few guys like that who ego lift and lift with poor form with heavy weights. But most people I just see lift really light. Like they're still in the warm-up zone. They never get out of the warm-up zone in terms of intensity for their lifting. And really, that's another thing that, so it's two things. It's discipline and effort. You need to put in effort. It comes down to just the same general principles of success in general life. It carries over. If you pursuing something with discipline and genuine effort, you're gonna make progress. It really just comes down to that. How I started making progress was really it just came down to that, just discipline and actually pushing myself in the gym. That was another mistake when I first started lifting, was being too worried about injuring myself and keeping the weights way too light. Like I really never lifted with much intensity in that first year. It comes down to discipline, genuine effort. Those are the two things that changed my training. And I made more progress in like 6 months than I did the whole year in that first year of training because of this. Like most people, even when they do follow a program, they don't, most of the time they do the workout with like not that much effort. They're on their phones a lot, looking at social media and taking rests that are like 3 minutes long, rest breaks just on their phones. And I see people, they'll have maybe like one workout in a month where they actually try their best, like because they're feeling motivated that day. But like the rest of the month, they just go through the workout, but just go through the motions, and then they wonder why they're not making any progress. You didn't earn it yet. The same with anything. You can't expect to become good at anything without having to suffer and go through the hard work. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take genuine effort. It's going to take you being uncomfortable. And that's it. That's the secret to progress in anything, I suppose. It's not really a secret. Everybody knows this.